Hopping into the game here, we are spectating our friend Zanananan against Eurolo. It's a priest mirror. However, Zan is playing Miracle Priest. I'm assuming Eurolo is not playing Miracle Priest. So let's see how this matchup lines up. Zanananan full tosses. I assume he's looking for minions. Minions are very important to get this deck going. There's a very small minion density. You run 2 Nismanis, 2 Sethics, and then either Zyrella or Samuro, depending on what tech card you want to have. You have cards like Rally and Raise Dead that let you resurrect your Bloodweavers and your Sethics. And together with the resurrections and just the effects of these minions, you discount your hand, play a bunch of buffs, make a big board, and you can do this turn and turn again, limited only by how many Rallies and Raise Deads you can generate. So it's a very high value deck, but it's kind of difficult to pilot, and it leads to some crazy APM turns. So right off the bat, we can see that our opponent's playing Cthulhu, an indicator of a control priest deck. Draconic Studies on 1. Zan has the Bloodweaver. Probably going to see that come out on turn 3. Yeah. The deck is a little slow in terms of coming online. You do need the Veil Weaver to start, the Sethic Veil Weaver to start getting the generation going. But Zan's on his way there. He's got the Bloodweaver already. Having both of them together is ideal, but Sethic's the more important one. Because the Bloodweaver you can still play, reduce your whole hand, and then play it, but you need more value against a deck like Priest. So you probably want to save some of the pop-offs for the Sethic, where you're actually generating stuff as you're buffing your board. Pretty good curve from our opponent here. Draconic on 1 lets him play a Brightwing on 2. And a Scorpid off the top, so there is a curve on board. Because of this Scorpid, Zan is probably not interested in playing the Bloodweaver anymore. He could play it just to have it die to get in the res pool, and then Rally is active, but there's no Rally in hand yet, and it might be better to hold on to this for, I don't know, something else. So we'll see. Especially with something like Hysteria in hand, it might be better for Zan to wait a little bit, and then just Hysteria the Scorpid to clear the board while he's waiting for his other resources. Insight. Okay, okay. We could even see something like a Coin Hysteria to corrupt the Insight. That's an option. What does Zan go for? Zan goes for Heal Pass. Saving the coin. I don't mind that at all. Take it a little bit slower. It's possible that our opponent here plays a 5/5 or a bigger minion, in which case the Hysteria gets a little bit better. We can clear something even bigger. Take some chip damage, but chip damage doesn't really matter in the Priest mirror too much. Board and tempo does matter. But taking a bit of damage, 5, 10, 15 early, usually doesn't really end games that quickly because Priest has a lot of sustain. Now, there's 4 minions left in the deck for Zanananan, and the important minions that he wants right now is at least 1 Sethic Veil Weaver. We have the Bloodweaver already, so whatever comes off this Insight will kind of change the outcome of the game by quite a large margin, because if the Sethic pops out, we can already start cranking out some generation. But if it's not Sethic, Zan has to kind of slow the game down and wait until he gets that Sethic for the extra value. Our opponents seem to have been mousing over the Brightwing card. It's possible that there is a playable legendary, but they might be taking it slow and not developing more. They might be saying that, you know what, this is enough pressure. Zan cashes in on the Hysteria, no point in waiting. Need to spend the mana, get the Insight corrupted, and get towards our game plan. Raise Dead. Scorpid and Brightwing brought back, not bad. Both are value generators. Okay, Scorpid comes down first. I do agree with this. Brightwing is a bit more aggressive because it has a higher attack power, but I think it's important to have the poisons on the board to prevent Zan from playing something like a Bloodweaver or a Veil Weaver just for tempo. I think we're just going to see an Insight here, see what the minion is, and then decide what the game plan is going to look like after that. He might be considering going Nismani with the Insight, but I think that'd be okay if there was a Smite in hand, because you also get to clear it, but... Ooh. This is interesting. I would have preferred to see the Insight first, because if this hits a Veil Weaver, then you're happy getting a Rally. Yeah, I think I would have liked seeing the Thrive after. It's possible he was looking for Thrive into palm reading, but I'd still be kind of happy just taking it a little slower, because you're not under that much pressure. I'm not sure if I like this. That being said, I'm not a Miracle Priest expert, so there might be something that Zanananan is thinking about that I just don't know about. Full hand from our Priest opponent, so Probably doesn't want to mill any of his important tools, i.e. the Cthulhu pieces. So we're going to see some tempo come down. We have no Hysteria in hand, no Smite, so we actually don't have a way to deal with this Scorpid from Zan's side. Probably going to just throw out a Bloodweaver for tempo, play a couple of spells to discount some stuff. This second Insight wants to be played because now there's only 3 minions left in the deck, so we're quite likely to get a Sethic now. Two out of 3 times we're going to be getting it. It's possible he also just plays the Insight non-corrupted. There's a lot of options here, actually. With the Gift of Luminance draw, he could go something like Nazmani, Gift of Nazmani, Insight, and then start popping off. Even on this turn. He takes it slow. I think I like taking it a bit slower here. This makes sense to me. Save this for on the turn which you want to have the pop-off. If all your pieces are very discounted, i.e. 0 mana Sethic and 1 mana Nazmani, you have so much mana left over to spend on actual buff spells. But if you go off with a 3 mana Nazmani and 2 mana Sethic, that's most of your turn already. So it's hard to get discounts and keep the chain going. But when you start with a lot more mana available, the turns tend to go out a lot smoother. And I believe next turn, and we're just throwing those money out here, this was, I believe, to corrupt the Insight to bank the discount for next turn so that we can start popping off. Oh no, not the Mutinous! Don't hit the set that gets eaten! This is a disaster! Zan needs that for the resource generation. That does not count as being dead. It's gone. It cannot be raised dead. It cannot be rallied. Zanananan is in shambles right now. If another Sethic isn't found, a Sethic off the top! Go, 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 go! Okay, JK. Zan's a genius. Sethic comes down. Nazmani. Gift of Luminance on the... because the extra mana has to be spent on the Sethic, I think gifting the Nazmani is better here because you need some more discounts. The first spell was a Gift of Luminance. That's insane. Coin. Are we going for another gift on the Nazmani or is it the Sethic now? I think it's the Sethic. We need more value. Excellent. And now we start popping off. We play some buffs. We get a bunch of discounts from Nazmanis. We generate more stuff. Oh no, the discounts missed the cheap spells. Zan probably has to ship a Raise Dead. The discounts missed again? Oh, this is a disaster. How much is on board? 4, 6, 12? 4 damage is lethal. Now, it's not that likely that damaging spells are going to be in the priest's hand because there are a couple of discovered spells from Scorpid, but you generally don't take buffs in this matchup as the control priest. You generally look for Soul Mirror, Hysteria, Focused, stuff that helps you clear the board after the Miracle Priest develops. So even though this is very close to being dead, I think Zan's in an okay spot. Now, we did discount a lot of good stuff. It's just you want to keep the chain going on that same turn and do as much as possible in one turn. Unfortunately, the way the discounts lined up from the Nazmani Bloodweavers, Zan had to end his turn. All of these with 1 mana left over. Zan also used the Raise Dead, which means that there's no Sethics anymore on the board. Sethics are gone until Zan finds a second Raise Dead or a Rally. Now, there's 2 Thrive in the Shadows, which lets Zan discover a spell from his deck. Soulmare comes out. It's a random one, of course. Sethic's cleaned up. Whoa, is the Mutinous trading here? Oh my goodness. And now the Soul Mirror has cleaned up Zan's board and generated one for his opponent. In a little bit of trouble here. Let's see what Zan can do to come back out of this. Palm Reading doesn't hit the Rally. Probably starts off with a Renew, gets another spell, and then gets the Valley from the Palm Reading. The Soul Mirror comes down. Okay, okay. Is he staring down lethal right now? 6, 7, 10, 18. So he doesn't necessarily have to deal with the board. He can set up for his own Soul Mirror next turn. But he does want to make sure he doesn't actually die himself. So maybe he ships a Holy Nova to help clean up a little bit. The problem with the Holy Nova is that it damages the Sethic, which means that Soul Mirror next turn will not leave the Sethic up on the board. And he also has to consider how much he wants to leave in hand for the pop-off next turn as well, if he's trying to pop off after the Soul Mirror. Wave. Wave is incredibly good. It lets him stop the board damage from coming in and sets up for the Soul Mirror next turn without damaging anything. Okay, okay. Wave comes down. Excellent. So, Zan has dealt with the board, has neutralized it for a turn, setting up for his own Soul Mirror. Let's see what our priest opponent does now. There's a lot of discounts coming out from their side as well, keeping that in mind, right? Double Nazmani, their hand's going to start getting discounted incredibly quickly. And the Sethic generation is also a problem. But both decks can technically go infinite from this point, so it's just a matter of how each player can navigate the current resources that they have. And it does look like Zan's at a disadvantage here. We'll see how the board looks at the end of this turn. Power Infusion. Because the opponent decided to keep the Sethic alive here, Zan's gonna be able to pop off a little bit with Soul Mirror. The Apotheosis, the lifesteal on this will also help Zan heal up a little bit. Alright, Zan has to go here. The Soul Mirror, it takes up most of his mana, but everything else is still 0 mana from the reduced... Oh, the gift off the top? Okay. Unfortunately, this Nazmani is gonna die, but there's still one Sethic, one Nazmani left on the board. The Brightwing now enters the res pool, so Rally's not guaranteed. That's unfortunate. Also, Guff will enter the res pool. Thrive. Rally. Oh no. The Rally might not work. 3-drop has died. The Brightwing. No, the Brightwing! It's a disaster! But a Sethic has been raised at least. Alright, the pop-off's going. Zan needs to find more rallies. Psyche Split's not bad. Renew. Rally, there it is. Okay, resources have started to become accumulated. Okay, there we go. Full hand's coming back out. That's not targetable except for his own minion, if I'm not mistaken, so that's a little unfortunate. Could consider apotheosising his opponent's minion to set up for the death. Let's see if he does go for that. He's waiting a little bit, seeing what other spells he gets. He does spot the line. He goes for the Apo, ships the death, gets some more cards back. Some of these cards are not very useful. Palm Reading a good one, Raise Dead a good one as well. Insight, I believe there's a minion left in the deck. I think it's Samuro. Okay, this was a good turn. Resources have been accumulated. Most importantly, another rally has come up because there's no Sethics, and there weren't at the start of this turn any Raised Deads or rallies left in Zan's hand, so it was very difficult for him to create another board. But now, even after this board gets wiped, he does have some longevity, assuming, of course, that the rally does not spawn another Brightwing or Guff. Actually, that doesn't even matter. Even if it does spawn a Guff or Brightwing, it's unfortunate because we don't get the discounts from the Nazmani, but the important thing is that the only 2-mana minion that's died on Zan's board this game is a Veil Weaver. So even if the rally does bring back a Brightwing or a Guff, the important thing is the value generator, the Sethic, will still be there. Now, Nazmani still enables for more powerful turns, which would still be beneficial if he does hit that off the rally, but the important thing is he has longevity. Wave comes out from the opponents. Checks an Auspicious Spirits, gets a champion, not bad. Gets another Scorpio down, another Raise Dead. The value train is going, but it looks like Zan's board might be intact at... Oh! Is this a Zyrella coming out? Zyrella would be pretty big here. Wipes a lot of the board. Yes, it's a Zyrella. Okay. Now, Zan's board gets a little wipe, but he doesn't start from 0. Importantly, he still has the Nazmani, so he can immediately ship the rally. That's fine. Palm Reading first. Yes, discount the cards in hand. Sure. Death. Good. Targetable there. Ships the rally. Gets a Septic back. Misses on the 3-drop, but that's fine. There's already 2 Nazmanis on the board. Psyche Split for a second Veil Weaver to get the generation going. Ships the death. Starts casting stuff. Can Ruin come out? Ruin can come out. Not anymore. I mean, it's 0 mana and there's no death target, so you can use it to dump a card to get 2 more mana discounts. Hysteria comes out. Another Psyche Split in hand. Desperate Prayer. Use that to get 2 mana discounts. Focus Will. No, you probably want to target that there. Okay, good. Keeps it going. Ships the Ruin for another 2 mana discount. Empties hand. Recycles a little bit for some of the stuff. Against all odds, importantly, must not be casted because it kills both of his Sethics. Okay, a Gift of Luminance would be great because it lets him put a Divine Shield on this so it doesn't die to something like, I don't know, another Zyrella or a Samuro or something. It's also kind of important that he finds... So Raise Dead is already kind of good enough if he hits a Veil Weaver off of it. But he doesn't have any more rallies, so if this Raise Dead misses, he's a little... Oh, this Idol! Oh, we knew that it was a guaranteed Samuro left in the deck, so this isn't that big of a deal. Okay, Samuro cleans up the board. A little bit of damage gets pushed. He does find some value with the Draconic Studies on the Skeletal Dragon, so even if he misses on the Sethic from the Raise Dead, he still has plenty of value left over. Important to note, Elucia is very scary in this matchup. If our opponent goes Minor Elucia, after we have a pop-off turn, look at how cheap the hand is. 3-mana Lucia starts shipping resources out of Zan's hand. And importantly, there's an against all odds. All of these important minions are at an odd attack. So if our opponent either has Mind Renderer and ships it this turn, it'll be devastating, or even if they have their own random against all odds, which I don't think is super likely. They have only one random spell in hand from Sethic. Focus Will comes down. Hysteria, that might not clean up that much. Oh no, not the Sethics. No! The Sethics are gone! That's a disaster! Nameless one? That one's less problematic. Shadow Form. Okay. Not a complete board neutralization. Samurai doesn't matter at this point. That mill's fine. It's important to not mill Rally Raise Dead at this point. Alright. That comes down. Checks the Raise Dead pool for Sethics. He does find Sethics. Okay, the generation can keep going. There's only one discount on the board with the Nazmani, but that's more than fine. The hand's already free. There's probably copies of Nazmani. Yep. This could be lethal. 7, 9, 10, 12. Does he go for the trade? Okay, it's very unlikely to be lethal, so that's fine. Oh, he does go for the trade. Into initiation. Very smart here. Okay. Oh, that has app on it, of course. Okay. So there's not enough for lethal, but oh my goodness, that's a lot of Draconic Studies. Even with the Sethic train stopping again, there's a lot of value left over for Zan. So I think now Zan is very, very favored as long as Zan's opponent does not have Mind Render. Spends the insight. Oh, there's a rally. That's very, 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 very good. Okay, a lot of, oh my goodness. The generation is incredible. It's actually pretty close to lethal too. Wait, this could have been lethal. Wait, was this lethal? No, it was close. He could death his own minion and then play the 1-mana Alex, which would have been very, very close to lethal. No, the Deathwing. If there's a discounted Lucia in Eurolo's hand, if it costs 2 mana and they go Mind Render Deathwing, I think Flo loses. Oh no. That's not super likely though, because I think if there was a Lucia, it would have been played last turn. So even if they top deck a Lucia, they can't ship the Deathwing. That being said, if they top deck Mind Render, there's still plenty of stuff that they can dump. So let's see what our opponent has right now. This game was such a roller coaster. Starting out with Mutinous devouring Zan's discounted Veilweaver into the top deck Sethic, which kept him in the game. Every turn, it just seems that Zan's squeezing by just by the thinnest of margins and then just getting a bunch of value left over. Very, very close. I mean, you can just see how strong this deck is in the right hands. Light Shower comes out, Talent. That's not going to do it. Flo is going to just swat this board aside and take the game. What a game, ladies and gentlemen. I thought for sure that Flo was in shambles after the Mutinous, but Flo persevered. Flo persevered. And that gets him the win. Well done.